Welcome back to my channel, Endless Roads. This is Hot Cup of Joe coming in from the old coffee house. This is part two of my series, The State of the World. And I'm going to be referring sometimes to pop culture here because I think it's the best way to explain some stuff and trying to find words for it. We were talking about the Israel and Hamas war. Some things I didn't know yesterday that I do know because this is 6 days into it and people are more talking about it. I was talking about 73 years. You're talking about who started what. It's always this person done something. That's why we did this, and then you go back. Well, you did this. I did this. Right. So to the point, we don't really know whose fault here to there. We just know that Hamas did some egregious things. I done heard that they beheaded babies. These people, they should be put down. Like I said the other day, they were talking about these people are animals, and everyone's calling them dogs. Well, these people are animals, not the Palestinian people, the people who follow Hamas and did this. Now comes to a question. Here's what bothers me because they said they're going to come in sort of like during the Civil War time, they said that we were going the north and to the south. They're going to do scorch earth. They're just going to go through, burn all the fields, burn the houses, businesses, kill all the animals to try to bring them down and that. So here's the point where I'm trying to make. Okay, you're going to go in and you said, we're not going to target the Palestinian people. We're just going to target Hamas. Now, it brings me back to the Vietnam War, okay? In the Vietnam War, we were trying to fight the Viet Cong, and we were going to different locations, walk into villages, and to fight the Viet Cong. The problem is, when you got there, you didn't know who the criminal was. You didn't know who the Viet Cong was. You stand people up and you look at them all. They look the same. There ain't no markings on them that says with a little note on the head says I'm the Viet Cong. Which brings me to you remember Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams. They said in one of his skits he was saying, "So how is the war going?" Says, well, we're trying to kill Charlie, but we can't find anybody named Charlie. So how do you find the enemy? He says, well, we just walk up to them and say, are you the enemy? And if they say yes, we shoot them. And it was kind of funny, but the sad part is, how are they going to know who Hamas is? They're going to go in there and they're just going to start shooting people. And right now, everybody's hot-blooded. There's no cool heads here. It's like we need to come in and retaliate right away. And the people have nowhere to go. They can't go to Egypt that's in there. The people don't want this. Most of the people don't. 70% of the people don't want Hamas there. But Hamas has not allowed an election in 16 years. 16 years. So it makes you see what's going on. They've been taken over by a group. But then again, like I said, you don't know who it is. Now, another thing I was made aware of today that I didn't know yesterday. Where did Hamas come from? Well, you have to go back a few years. I remember 26 to 30 years ago. Hamas was created by the prime minister of today in Israel. He gave arms and support to the leader of Hamas to fight the PLO, who was more sympathetic to the Israel side than the other one. But they see or he's seen that the PLO was more of a threat than Hamas. So they gave money, weapons, and opportunity to Hamas to take over. The leader at the time said, "Oh, we just want to build churches and schools. That's all we care about." And then as soon as they got into power, it was something else. So now the PLO is in charge of the West Bank, pretty much, and not got too much trouble coming out of there, right? But Hamas is in the Gaza Strip, and that's where all the craziness is coming from. So when you look at Israel cause their own problem, here's another thing. To give you an example, on the Freedom of Information Act that came out, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago when they said files can be opened up after a certain time, we found out a lot of things. One thing is what they're going through right now. We were dealing with the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? And a bunch of radical people in our government, I'm talking about ours, I'm in the Philippines, so I'm talking about the United States government, decided that we needed a war with Cuba and we needed a reason. So they thought that they would just get a bunch of CIA agents and do a false flag, attack America with our own people. That way the people will be uprised and want to go in and wipe it out. Thank God for us, we had a leader, John F. Kennedy, who said, no, that's just totally immoral. We won't do that. Well, I cannot say the same about the Prime Minister of Israel, and I can't say anything good about the leader of Hamas. They are that person. Those people who are in charge of America, the atrocities would be just outlandish. Okay, this is what I wanted to say next. Okay, we are at not war, but funding Ukraine's war and Russia, right? Fighting each other. The point I'm trying to get at here is we have massive amount of money going into Ukraine's war. All of a sudden now we got two battleships, two airliners, aircraft carriers there to fight the Hamas in Palestine. Massive amount of ships by the sea, and we are just dumping lots of ammo and weapons into Israel. How can we sustain this with now two war fronts? We're giving the money to Ukraine. We're giving the money to Israel. We don't even have a Speaker of the House to approve the money that's going out. People in America is already getting burnt out, but funding, well, what I'm going to say, and I'm going to get some blowback on this, a losing war in Ukraine. Ukraine, the only time Ukraine's going to be able to stand up to Russia is if we just endlessly give them weapons. There's no way they can ever win against Russia, because if Russia ever felt to the point that their country is going to collapse and their economy is going to collapse, I believe Putin would push the buttons in the nuclear bomb in Ukraine to end it. He's already threatened to. Now, we take the same scenario now with Israel. Israel has, 80, 90 nuclear bombs. I mean, they're nothing like the other ones, but enough to wipe out the whole Middle East if they wanted to. And America is sending its weapons and resources over there to help them. Now, sometime down the road, like I was talking in the first video, we've been in some type of war every 40 years. and with 12 major wars under our belt. Not talking about the minor stuff, just the major wars. That breaks down to 20 every year, right? So you can pretty much believe that America is going to be in an actual physical battle, let's say by 2030. My prediction, remember? And that, are we going to have the weapons? Are we going to be so financially broke that we can't defend ourselves, but we're too busy fighting everybody else's war? You know, Russia was very, totally wrong invading uh, Ukraine here, but we shouldn't go broke because of it and solve nothing. We're going to go broke with Israel too, because right now, this is what I see about Hamas, right? Hamas don't care about Philistine, Palestine people. They don't care one bit about them. He don't care if the last one dies. He reminds me of Chairman Mao. When Chairman Mao says, you know, to win to where I want to be at, I don't care because there's a billion people. I don't care if 600 million people die to achieve victory. Hamas don't care if 90% of the Philistine people live or die, as long as he gets what he wants. So there, we're going to go in, and this is what's going to happen. We're going to go in, we're going to give weapons. We might even start firing there ourselves, right? We've got hot-blooded Israeli people coming in without a cool head, firing at everybody, you know, assaulting their women, maybe killing their kids too. It has happened before. You just have to look into the past if you care to, and you can see that. But the main thing is Hamas will get sympathy from the surrounding neighbors. And the main ones you have to worry about is Iran. Syria sends some in there, but you know they're in their own civil war. You have Libya, Egypt, Lebanon. They're all, you know, kind of cool-headed right now. But when they see the total population, they're going to say, "Oh, we're going to be next." You know, just like in Europe, you have Finland, Sweden, everybody saying they want to join the European Union because they're afraid Russia is going to be in their place next. Right? So, how I see this is exciting. I watched Joe Rogan the other day, and yeah, he was just totally stressed out on that. He said he can't sleep at night anymore. He says that, but this has happened. He goes, he's afraid that World War III is going to start. And he's like, well, I'm going to get my bunker and all that. When I ain't going to solve nothing anyway. But the thing is this, it could. Because right now, everybody is worrying about what side to be on instead of what's right. You know, don't be biased or be non-biased. Look at everything, where it's going down, what's going down, and see if you can de-escalate it. Nobody's trying to de-escalate it, you know. If the United States really wanted to de-escalate it, they wouldn't send warships. They would have been sending peace officers, not military men. You know, European Union. You don't see nobody doing anything to try to de-escalate this. What I see is they're trying to prop it up. Maybe they want it. I don't know. I'm not in the minds of all the political leaders in the world. I just know there's going to be a lot of innocent people from a lot of countries. That right now, I'm in the Philippines, and I was listening to CNN Philippines, and they said there's about 300 OFWs in the Gaza Strip, and they're already trying to make a deal with Egypt to get them a clear pathway and trying to broker a deal with Israel not to shoot at them to get the Filipino OFWs out of there. Well, What if Hamas says no? Not. They're going to stay right here. Well, here's another thing you don't get. What I don't get. We have a lot of Americans in there too, and several Americans that are hostages. And the United States said that they don't have no plan to rescue them. They don't plan to get them out. That's the common thing with our new president Biden. He didn't care about the people in Afghanistan, the U.S. citizens. He just okay, we're going out, pulling out. Whatever happens, happens. No contingency plan to make sure that United States citizens got out and the United States people that were helping us, or the people that was helping the United States get out, because there's a death sentence for them. We just walked away. Benghazi, you remember Benghazi, right? What did our Secretary of State say? Hillary Clinton. Oh hell, that's only 12 people. What does it matter? Because these people, Hamas, Israel, the leaders right now in Washington D.C., it's just a number. It's not a human being to them. When the ambassador of the United States gets dragged through the street in Benghazi, burned, tortured, molested, what did Obama and Hillary Clinton say? They laughed. They literally laughed about it. I said, "Oh well, things happen. That's the job. I don't care." I cannot understand how people cannot have any humanity for another person. You know, and I don't see this going down anytime soon. No more than I see Ukraine and Russia. As long as they were propping up Ukraine, Russia will just keep going. Because Russia now has help from India, help from China, Iran, North Korea, and they can keep going on. I'm pretty sure there's some countries that's like, oh, well, as long as you can sell us your oil cheap, your gas cheap, we're going to help you too. And they're doing it under the table, like most things. Now, I wanted to get more into the religion aspect of this because it has a lot to do with it. Because the reason why Israel is there in the first place, the Israel nation, is because they said that biblically God promised it to them. God promised it to them. So they have a right to it. So when they got there was people there before. Not even the Palestinians. Other people, the Syrians, the Babylonians. These people there was people there since caveman days, okay? You come in, say it's the promised land, they're going to take it. So now it's theirs. So then a lot of people left. And the people that lived there grew up. Now, I want you to get something to understand. There's literally nothing different between the Israel people, the Jewish people that live there, the Muslim people, and the Christian people. They're all brothers and sisters. They were growing together for hundreds of years. They got along fine. There is no DNA difference too much in them. But they came in anyway. So the religious part I was trying to get to is, okay, I got done reading First Kings, Second Kings, all the books of the judges, the prophetic books here just the other day. And I see a pattern. When the Jewish people, there was Judah in the bottom and Israel was on the top. And the Israelites were 10 tribes. And the 2 tribes in the south, which was Judah. And Israel, for some reason, now is the leader. But the thing I've seen is, if you get the gist of the Kings 1, Kings 2, and all the books that lead back up to it, every time Israel decided that power and money was more important than God, evil fell on him. What was the guy's name again? No, not Elijah, the other one. Uh, Came to him and the prophet, said, hey, you need to repent. You worship idols. You have thrown away the laws of Moses. You want a kingdom of this world and not a kingdom of God. And other countries from the north and west and south will come in and they will wipe you out. They will wipe you out because your heart is hardened, not soft. The point here is that they're all the same people, but everybody has a hard heart. Nobody has a soft heart and can say, hey, you know what? I can share this with you. And in the book in Kings, they say, in all the countries of the world, all the people of the world will come here, and the new temple will blow out, be built, and built up, and 4 rivers pour out. I don't really think they're talking about a temple. I think they're talking about going back to the Garden of Eden. Garden of Eden was the temple where God and us, we all lived happily together. But that part, I think, is a long ways off because everybody's heart's hardened. Everybody has a grudge with somebody else. Everybody wants power, money, wealth. And until Israel comes away from being the power-hungry people they are, and they get a leader in that's more based on the traditional Bible and follow, well, the Bible is the Quran, because that's what they read. It's basically the Old Testament too, And the people in Palestine come back to the book. What's the difference anyway of Jewish and Islam? They believe the same thing, except Islam believes that Muhammad was a prophet and Jesus was a prophet. And Israel believes there has never been that he wasn't a prophet and that Jesus was no prophet and a false prophet, by that way. And they're still waiting for the Messiah to come. Well, if they're waiting for the Messiah to come, then shouldn't they still follow the rules? Because if they break into 10 rules of God and harden their heart and worship money and idols, which they do now, they're not going to get there anyway. My thought, Yeah. I want to go back to that one part I was talking about. This is going to be according to pop culture too, but to give you an idea, Israel says that this land is promised to them because God told them on the mountain. Okay, and when you ask them about the people who lived there before, and they massacred them to have the land, killed the same way the men, the women, the children, the goats, the cows, sterilized the ground to say, okay, this is our land. I remember in a movie, and I checked it up and it's true, about the Dakota and the Blackfoot. Blackfoot ruled the lands, okay? And let's say southern Dakota, Wyoming area, and then the Apaches took it from them. When Custer asked the Apaches, why do you have this land and not me? Because they were saying you need to leave. This is our ancestry land. And Custer says, you say it's your land, but my great father told me this is our land. And he goes, well, we were on the mountain, and the mountain, the Great Spirit told us that this land be ours, so it's ours. But you took it from the Blackfoot Indians, and the Blackfoot Indians said that God gave it to them. The Great Spirit gave it to them. And they go, well, they don't count because our Great Spirit is different than their Great Spirit. Same Great Spirit promised it to us. You see what I'm getting at here? Whenever there's something and you can't explain it, you just throw it on religion. You throw it on religion. Okay, the Great Spirit told me that Israel is ours, so it's ours. Oh, did they tell you? Well, yeah, 4,000 years ago they said it was ours, so we're going to come and take it now. Okay, could you actually just share it with us? Oh, no, 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 no. We can't share this land with the Palestinians, and the Palestinians don't want to share it with us. It's going to be either ours or theirs, and we're going to take it because God promised it was my claim. And that's funny. I thought God said He's going to make um, temple, which was going to be the Garden of Eden, where the four rivers of life would flow out into the desert, and everybody's going to live happy together, all the people in the world. And every single book has said that. So how in the world is that land just going to be Israel? And the Torah says that all the nations of the world are going to come there and live in harmony together. I don't remember him saying that Israel's going to be in charge of that. God's going to be in charge of that. So that's my thoughts. I wanted to get this out here for the second one, and it's a little disturbing for me, because I don't know what's going to go on. This is the state of the world. I'm actually talking a lot about Israel and Palestine because it's the newest thing up. But we still got China threatened Philippines, and the more stuff that goes on, the more people are distracted. We just built 7 military bases here in the Philippines, new ones, as a threat to China encroaching in here. Also, China's been playing, like two bullies, and you're standing on a tree, standing on a hill, playing King of the Hill, pushing each other to see who can knock the other person down. And they've been confronting each other with their ships out in the ocean around the West Filipino Sea, and so that's going on, but we don't hear about that right now. So you don't know nothing. You think that everything is calm everywhere else. I one time asked myself, in America, it's also about the news. I know I keep digressing other places here, instead of staying on subject, but it's very hard because it's a multi-finger thing. In America, there was in the '80s, it was all about the gangs. Gangs this, gangs that, gangs in drugs, gangs in prostitution, all this stuff, and you thought the world was going to come in America because, oh God, this gang thing's bad. But as soon as they stopped talking about it, well, you're like, well, the gang thing's over now. No, still as bad, it's worse than it ever was. But you don't know it because the media don't promote it. Not promote it. It's a bad word for that. To inform anymore what's going on there. Because the media is just like everywhere else. It's about making a profit and being better than the other media person. So you only report on what everybody you think wants to hear. So the war in Sudan against South Sudan is still going on, but nobody hears anything about it and the atrocities. Abizajad and the media is still going on. Nobody's talking about it. The raids from North Korea into other countries, kidnapping people going on. Nobody's talking about it. The illegal police stations that China is opening up all around the world to arrest their own people and citizens of other countries that talk anything bad about China going on. You don't hear about it. Ukraine and Russia really just totally fell off the thing now. I mean, and nobody's talking about it. I bet the leader of Ukraine is like, oh my God, why did this have to happen? Now I'm not going to get anything. You don't really hear, as soon as the war broke out, you don't hear about the Republicans and Democrats stuff anymore. It's not newsworthy compared to this. So this is where things are. I do believe that it's going to get a lot worse, like I predicted. Like I said again, go back to my prediction. I didn't have too much in there, but I did predict this stuff going on. And it's not that I have some magical power or, I'm a prophet and God talks to me. I have eyes. I listen. I see. I know the thing called action and reaction. One thing causes another, causes another, causes another. That's what's happening. Even in the Bible, when they talk about that, back in the Ezekiel is what I was talking about. Uh, he explains, they said one reaction will cause the other, and it's going to be the downfall. Well, it's not going to be just a downfall for Israel, it's going to be a downfall for many countries in the world. And we're going to be into a recession. Right now, America is fighting off a recession, and then we're just blowing the money. When soon there'll be an inflation because we're going to have to print money to keep up with everybody. Then the dollar goes down, the prices go up. And you can see people preparing for something. None of the governments are going to tell you what's going on either. First of all, they don't want to look bad, any government in the country or any part of the world. And they don't want to panic. But if you listen with an open ear and open mind, you can see what's going on. Here in the Philippines, the main discussion right now is pure food security. They need to make sure they got food security. Well, if that's all that they're talking about, you have to ask, you should say to the leaders of this country, why are you so concerned about food security when you have plenty of food? Listen, you're not going to be plenty of food soon? Well, probably not. Because, like we said, India cut off any export. I don't know if since this going on, I haven't heard if India has reinstated export of rice out of their country because they say they don't have enough rice to feed their people. China, just before this war broke out, a day and a half before this war broke out, China said that they were going to stop exporting rice. They need to feed their people because the droughts and all the problems they don't have enough money. Okay, that's half the world rice production and half the people not getting any rice. Probably more than half. So everybody's going into protection mode now. Yeah, and like I said, the Philippines, they're into a neutrality where they don't want to. They want to be okay. We're worried about China, but we're worried about America. We're worried about Russia. We're going to say we're a buddy with everybody. We're just going to sell and trade with everybody. You know, to keep everybody happy. But it ain't going to work because, like I said before, when you have a neutrality, but you're trading with both places, one's going to say, "Oh no, you're giving aid to the person we're fighting with. We're going to blow up your ships, or we're going to shoot down your airplanes, or blow up the trains or trucks carrying the supplies." And then you're in a war that you didn't want anyway. So maybe the best thing is for the Philippines to be protective, but I think they should not buy or sell to the areas that's in conflict, or that's going to put them into the scope of the people that the other people are fighting with. That's my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to get on out of here now because it's about 25 minutes long. I just wanted to finish this up from yesterday, and I'll get back to more about things in the Philippines. But I think this was important to get out here. And, this is another thing. I don't know if this video is going to change anything and that, but I do know this. It might change a person that's angry or mad about things going on in the world without checking out the facts. Maybe this video will help them. I had things in my life that I can remember where one person made a difference for me just by random act of kindness or a little speech that they made. that brighten my day, and it stays with me. That's why I'm here. I want to say something that might one of the viewers here or somebody that picks on it might say, "Hey, you know what? I'm glad you said that because I was blindly going into anger or rage about this or that, or I didn't see a person's side. You know, I would say a wise person is a person that's open to listen to everybody's side without condemning or walking out just as soon as the person starts talking because it didn't fit how they feel right there. Well, anyway, this is Cup Hot Joe. I'm going to get on out of here. Probably going to have to cook dinner tonight. Here's my wife, Janet. Janet, say hi.
Hi.
We're having our coffee. She done had hers. I still sitting mine there. Well, I'll talk to you in a week or two. Till then, be safe.